Okay, so I went ahead and transferred and moved the robe over to a new character because the original character was giving me a watermark and it had was really slowing my system down for something. There was something on the character that was really slowing down my system when I was doing video capture. So I've taken the robe in question and moved it to a neutral character, and I'm going to work from there. So you'll notice when I put it in a T pose, you'll notice these funny shapes under the arms. Um, and there's also this distortion here that was in the original character as well. So we're going to fix both of those things. I did notice that there actually is a weight map already on this row. So if I look in here, I see you've already created a weight map. That looks like it should be fine for this. And so we just need to get the robe itself working better. Um, because these are kind of baked into it now because the weights have been transferred, what I'm going to do is basically just redo it. So I'm going to convert the robe to an accessory. I've got it selected. I double click it to select it only, or you can select it in the scene manager. And convert to an accessory and reset to the default shape. And that will get rid of, that will put it back as how you had originally modeled the robe, like that. Now it looks perfectly correct. Now it looks like it needs to go up a little bit, probably right there. All right, let's see how it fits on the character here. Looks pretty good. All right, so I want to pose the character into the robe. I usually model clothing in a T-pose, and the reason for that is so it minimizes the possibility of cross-weighting between the arms and the chest. And that's what happened to those arms before. But I'll show you a way to get around that. There is a tool to avoid that. So I'll select my character, I'm going to press N to bring up my pose panel, or you can select it over the animation tab here. And I'll turn my mirror mode on. I'm going to grab the shoulder there, press E to go into my rotate gizmo, and then just rotate those down until the arms hit the sleeves just right, like I want them. And then I'll close this panel. You can just press in again or close it up there. And I've got his shoulder sticking through just a hair. So what I'll do is, um, when I transfer the skin, after transferring the skin weights, I'll use the conform tool to fix that. So now this is an accessory. Let's select the robe again. It's already attached to them as an accessory, so now I can transfer the skin weights. And you want to make sure you use the dress here so it does the skirt part weighted evenly across the two legs. And then you also, for the underarm to not cross weight to the torso, you want to load the lateral partitioning. And then there's a part for arms down here. So what you're going to do is zoom in here, and this may take a little work to get just right. And you're going to basically select, vertices. Let me do it on the other side. It's easier to see um, the red dots are a little hard to see on the purple there, so you have to look pretty carefully. So if I drag a bunch over here, um, I want to make sure that all of that is arm, right? I don't want to have any of that crossover. So that is his left arm. So I will go ahead and click left there. It should change color. I'm not sure why it's not. And then for the right arm, you would do the same thing because you don't. What you're trying to avoid is getting any of the underarm part weighted over to the chest there. I think about there, I'll probably be good. Might need a little more. Um, make sure I get all of that. And then that would be the right arm. Okay, and then you can go ahead and click apply. It should have turned out yellow. I'm not sure why it didn't. Hopefully it will for you. Not when they have to play with it a little bit. Okay, so now we have this applied. I can go ahead and close that, and then I can um, take care of the poke through. So we'll use the conform to do that. Calculate the occlusion, that took care of that. Okay, so now I've got the character on here, and if I come over here, it's still got that same weight map, which should be fine. And then so I will make sure to turn all of my physics on. Hang on. My physics toolbar is off screen. Sorry about that. What I did is I just um, made sure that these two were turned on to activate my physics. Now let me go back to where I was. Sorry, I'm working on not my full screen because my full screen is too big to record the video. So okay, I have physics turned on there. I have physics activated for the robe here, and it looks like there's some kind of motion on the character already. I'm going to select male and say a walk, or maybe I'll do the posing motion. Let's do the male posing motion. Okay, so here he is in his pose. You notice it doesn't have that weird crease in the middle there now. But one thing you'll notice is that in Character Creator, it snaps to that first pose, and so it's not giving the physics time to relax like it would standing in a T pose. So when you're really adjusting your physics carefully, you should go do an iClone, because you could have it transition from the T pose into your next motion or pose. So okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play this and see what I get. Okay, so if your physics doesn't turn on immediately, I've got something slowing my machine down right now. So to reactivate the physics there, try again. Oh, there's physics there. Okay. So it looks like all your physics is actually good. Your weight map is just fine. Um, it's just you had to basically needed to redo your skin weighting for it to be proper. Um, and you'll notice that because I weighted it as a dress, that if I don't have the physics, then it moves and stretches evenly across the legs properly. You want to make sure it does that. It'll just be better if it does that, because say you only had the physics applied to the very lower edge, you wouldn't want the rest to follow the legs properly. So, okay, hope that's helpful. Good luck. Oh, one other thing I should point out about this that I noticed, and I don't think it's really an issue, but this model is actually in two separate meshes, even though it's like one object, there's two meshes in it. So like if I go into my edit mesh for this object, for the clothing, then there's that seam right there. And if I select element, then it is indeed a separate part. So, but um, since you have the non-physics part coming down to about here or something, um, that's not really an issue because it's only being soft physics below that. So the dark on the physics map, weight map, is holding this part onto the body. So you should be okay there too. Okay, hope that's helpful. Good luck.